We had a conversation that you told me one time that you were interviewing for a position, and while they were like still talking, you're like, hold on just a second. You went behind the bar. You want to tell that story? I love that
I
story.
was 23 years old. I looked 16, and I applied for a general manager of a three-level, steakhouse. I was way, way underqualified. And I went in for my interview, and it's important to know that just before that, I managed the college dive bar, and the ice machine broke the first week I was there. So I told the owner, he said, "Don't worry about it. I'll bring you ice." I'm like, "Bring me ice." So the next 3 days, he brought me igloo coolers of ice. They wouldn't get us through an hour of service. We were a slamming college bar. So every day I would get in my Honda CRX and I would drive to Garofalo's Market and I would fill up a CRX with like 40 bags of ice to get us through as much of service as we could. And then I'd send someone else to go to the grocery store in the middle of the night to keep the bar going. And I found out it was $30 to fix the ice machine, but he wouldn't pay it. So I said, I'm never dealing with this again. So my next interview for this GM position, they opened the door for the interview, and I said, before we begin, do you mind if I take a look around? And they said, no, sure. So I went into the basement. They had a Hoshi. I looked at how they had set up their inventory, where they touched labeling things. I crawled under the bar with a flashlight. I checked the plumbing. I checked the traps. I checked everything. I said, I'm not taking another job. I don't care what they pay, where I spend my whole day fixing the business that you don't take care of. And they took care of the business. And 45 minutes into this, it was so bad. The owner goes, "Do you mind if we ask you some questions?" And I was like, "Oh, that's right. This is a job interview." I got the job, and they told me, they said, "You were the least qualified, youngest, but you're the only person that walked in here and clearly wanted to take care of our business, and that's what we're looking for." And that made a huge impression on me very early on. Then is what kind of things do you look for when you go into work for a new job? How can you tell if they're going to take care of you? And honestly, if they're not taking care of their physical space, if they don't take care of their own equipment, they're not going to take care of their people. They don't go together. People who care about everything. They don't care selectively about a couple things unless it's just money. So
It wasn't on our list, but I like it.
it's all right. It's fun.
So a lot of your peers say that you're, a thought leader in the industry, and I know people kind of toss around that. What does that mean to you, being a thought leader in the bar design space?
Oh, I think it means I think too much and I overthink things, which is what I do professionally for a living. People say, "Oh, there's even bestsellers like don't overthink." I think that's a really interesting point of view. Because for me, overthinking means you are trying to look at a problem from every possible angle and then say, well, what haven't people figured out? Where's the space? Where's the gap? Or why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep doing this thing that doesn't work? Why can't it be better? Like bartending, reaching way over to get to the scupper just to make a drink. Why do we kill our bodies to make drinks? Or running back and forth, or shuffling constantly. The ice is here, the glasses are here. Why do we do that? And so instead of just saying, well, my way is right, saying, well, no, I want to understand it. So being a thought leader, I guess, really is just genuinely being curious and asking lots of questions, observing. I like the fact, honestly, that a lot of people don't know what I look like. You may have heard my name, but you don't know what I look like. That's on purpose. I'm not trying to be a talking head or be an Instagram star, because I want to be able to go into bars and restaurants and be invisible and just observe and learn, because I learn by watching what people bartenders do. I don't have all the answers, you do, and I study you and I watch you and I see the way you interact with your environment. That's how I learn. And I travel the whole world, and then I see something strange and I ask the question, well, why do you do that? I'm not judging, I'm learning. I'm just processing everything, and then I take it back and I go, I know how I could solve that because of that curiosity. So I think thought leader is really just being a super curious person who wants to help and improve for the people that they're part of a tribe with, and I'm a tribe of bartenders. So I think that's it.
So I think there's a couple different parts of bar design. I mean, because there's the aesthetic part that everyone thinks of, but there's definitely the behind the bar design for optimal efficiency and then profitability. So, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you've seen that people do? Um,
Oh man, there's so many, but I'll just rattle off a real few of them. So one of the biggest ones is designers have this. So this is I'm gonna just rabbit hole with you guys for a second because I find it fascinating. I hope you do too. So you don't know this maybe, but we all have wired in our brain these gestalt needs for symmetry. It's what the standard of physical beauty. If you take they've done the studies. If you take any celebrity who's considered to be one of the most beautiful humans, that's mathematically they have the most symmetrical faces. It's a sign of survival. It's a sign of health. So for procreation. So as a species, we are hardwired to like symmetry. And as a designer, I get it. So what everyone tries to do in design is they try to mirror everything, which means when they design a bar, they mirror the bartender stations, which means the station on the left has the sink on the left, and the station on the right has the sink on the right. Well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go home and I want you to switch out the car in your driveway every single day. And I want you to put an American car on Monday and then put a British car on Tuesday where the steering wheel and the gas pedal and everything's on the other side. And then I want you to drive to work quickly and safely and efficiently and smile and have fun and not get in an accident and don't kill people. Designers don't realize how difficult it is to constantly have your brain trying to go, oh wait, this is the backward station. Today I have to jump over here. It's slowing down the business. The business is losing money because now you're thinking. And there's no thinking in successful bartending. It's reaction. Your brain should already be able to just talk to the guest while your body is making the drinks. But if you mirror everything, you can't do that. So it's repeat, not mirror. That's one. Another is, well, we had more space at the end, so we made this station bigger, but this one was by a column, so this one's smaller. Identical stations. Pick whatever the smallest station has to be, then that's what all the stations are. Don't make one suffer unless you are really good at understanding ops and you know that that's a mid well. It's sort of an auxiliary well that only gets used once in a while on Friday and Saturday night for 2 hours. That's fine. But otherwise, don't make every station different because the building you're building in has a weird shape. Building strange geometries and putting them in weird parts of the room because you like the look of it. Don't fall in love with a shape. Pick the shape of the bar strategically for business, for the flow of the room, the delivery of the product, and the experience. And there's pages on bar geometry, every single style and type and their strengths and weaknesses. There are probably everything that can be done inefficiently in terms of design is covered in the book, and then the solutions for how to avoid them. And you don't have to have any understanding of construction or design to understand it. My mom is 88. She read the book, and she now talks to me about bar design in a way that I'm like, hey, did you just throw out the word plinth over the dinner table conversation? Is that about a 4-inch curve? What do you know about curves? So.
So getting a little bit higher level, kind of coming out of design, because that's fascinating, and that's everyone can like pick up this book. You'll sign some afterwards, get it on Amazon. But like from an industry standpoint, like things have changed a lot over the last 6 years, right? So thinking about like in industry trends and emerging, maybe that's ingredients, maybe that's design, maybe that's equipment. Give us some of your insights on that.
Well, I mean, everyone's seen it, right? So in 2015, I went to a big equipment show, and I told people, I said, those big ice cubes that you're just starting to see that have been around for 20 years, especially in Japan, they're not going anywhere. Everyone will have them, and you're going to start specifying 2 and 3 different type of ice heads in every one of your projects. And a room full of designers laughed out loud at me. And that's fine. I don't mind being laughed at. I looked because I knew that I knew information they didn't, and I wanted to share it with them. And I said, I'm going to come back here in 4 years, and then we'll see who's laughing. I came back and I said, hey, everybody, remember me? How many ice machines, different kinds of ice are you putting in your projects now? They're like, you're right, 2 or 3. Trend spotting is interesting because really what it is, it's just really having your finger on the pulse of anything, and it's backcasting in order to forecast. Knowing that 2x2 ice cubes weren't a fad is just traveling and knowing where the best bars in the world are and going there. And I don't mean the ones on lists. I'm talking about bars like the one that we went to in Kyoto that's, Jazz Bar is its name. And it just says whiskey and cocktails. And he's had 2x2 cubes for 30 years. I think some of the things that people are like, what's the next big thing? I think it's already happened. And for a lot of us, it's not revelatory. Bars designed by bartenders and involving bartenders and ops people in design. It's having true ergonomics. And right now there's a game. And the game is about there's a small group of professionals in the world that are really understanding and dialing into what ergonomics means, and they're designing ergonomic equipment. And then there's a lot of people that realize that that's a marketing word that can sell equipment, so they're just throwing the word. It's ergonomic. It's 0-step. It's understanding really what that means. But that's an exciting time because it means that everyone's paying attention to bartender health and wellness and speed. and they're caring finally about what happens to your body back there. Which is, I've kind of been one of about 3 people for 20 years in the corner with my little flag going, hey, bartenders have wealth and health, it really matters. And that equipment hurts and it cuts their shins and it's too low and it's hard to reach the counter. And now everyone is paying attention to that and they're designing around that, which is great. So I think it's a really exciting time for bartenders because we're seeing bartender designed bar equipment and we're seeing bartenders being asked to consult at much higher levels in much bigger, more important ways, and that's great for the beverage industry.
Well, I'm so glad you've been part of that conversation and really pushing that because we need more advocates like you. And anyone can kind of read this book and understand a little bit better.
Yeah, and I shout out to all the people that are out there in Bar Design Essentials
Yeah.
that are doing that work. It's a very inclusive book. It's not about there's a right way or the wrong way. These are the things I've learned. I've spent 30 years learning this stuff, and I designed hundreds and hundreds of bars. And here's everything I can share with you so that you can be better at what you do, no matter what part of it is.
Thank you. So, for everyone here, like if you were to give one parting piece of advice, one thing that they could remember and really take back to their operation, what would that be?
I think if I don't think bartenders and operators too much, especially managers. They already understand that empathy is the key to the whole business. If we could make empathy part of the design build culture and understand that who is the important person when you're designing a bar? Is it the people who spend 40 hours or 4 months designing a bar that they should be worrying about what's easiest for them? Or should it be for the people who spend 40 hours a week doing double clopens for 10 years behind the bar? Should we be designing for them? And the truth is, the system is set up for speed and profit. And because it's set up for speed and profit, it does not give us space for those conversations. And we need to have more of those conversations. So I guess my parting advice would be, besides, ask for the seat at the table. Honestly, I didn't write the book. You don't. If you haven't self-published, you'll learn you don't make money publishing a book at all. Nothing. I'm underwater on this. That's fine. Buy the book. Read the parts that you like. Maybe dig in. It's a pretty easy read, honestly, and it teaches you how to ask for that seat at the table. And the next time before you take a job and they're building a new place or they're renovating, insist on being a part of that process and go in with the vocabulary so the general contractor, the ID, the interior designer, the FCSI, the FED, or the KCE, and all the other little acronyms you need to know, so they take you seriously and they don't dismiss you and they don't try to throw out some tricky jargon to make you feel small and not important. Because what you know about making a bar work to keep the guests happy and to keep the business open and make money, they don't, and it's really important. You have a value at that table that no one gives you credit for having. And don't ever let anyone tell you that the value that you have is not important, because it's the most important part about designing a bar, because any GC or ID can make stuff pretty and they can drop equipment behind a counter and build a counter and put lights up and put walls around the room. Anyone can do that. But to do it in a way that allows you to flow so that the room can flow, so the business can flow, so that everyone has a wonderful time and no one has to get injured and have a chiropractor on standby in order to do it. That's the goal for bar design as we grow as an industry. That is the standard that we need to hold everyone accountable to. Not about how pretty it is, because everyone's good at that already. How good is this on the body? Do I want to work behind this bar? Or am I going to go work? So I have choices now. I can be picky. I want to work somewhere where I feel great behind that bar and I can do my job better and I look good. Because I don't look crazy like I'm running back and forth. Yeah, I'll be with you in a minute. Hang on, I got to run over here to get this and I got to bend to get that. And then I got to wear shin pads because otherwise I cut my knees. Those days need to end. And you guys are the people that can do that. Now you've got some firepower to help you figure out how to do it.
So you spent a lot of time and effort and money behind, just writing this book that is, like I said, it's going to be a reference tool for everyone. So what's next for Tobin Ellis and Studio Bar Magic?
It's the same mission. It hasn't changed. I've been doing this a long time. I do a lot of custom bar design now at Studio Bar Magic for the people who want to not just have me do it, which is obviously 90% of it, but the learning that you can get from hiring someone. And it's not just me. There's other people that can do this. There are other people out there. But bringing in a bar design specialist and not letting You need an equipment dealer. You should work with a food service consultant in your kitchen for sure, and for all the MVP schematics. But bars aren't their specialty. Spend the extra 5% on your next project and bring in a bar design consultant who this is all they do and they know it better than anyone. Because one of the craziest things about my bar design background, which most architects are fascinated by, this is really unusual. I actually pulled shifts, and I mean real shifts, not guest shifts, with a drawer and a drop behind every bar I designed for the first 15 years I designed bars. I worked my designs. I learned about my mistakes that way. And that kind of experience and that kind of insight is so valuable. And I share that with my clients. When I design bars for people, I don't just hand them a magical piece of paper and say, pay me a giant truckload of money. I talk to them and I educate them. My job is ultimately, I want to design all your bars, but I don't want you to need me for everything. I want your team to learn and go, oh yeah, next time, I don't know, should we build on a curb, or maybe we should just put that on 6-inch ledge? You know what we can do, and now you're getting better. My job is to develop my clients. That's a partnership. So I think that's where most of my energy is now, is in a lot of custom work for people who want beautiful, highly functional, profitable bars that are great for their staff, and they value the expense and the expertise it takes to do that work that a food service designer who specializes in kitchens, or an architect, or a person trying to just sell you equipment wouldn't necessarily have.
So if someone's interested in following up with you or have some additional questions, how can they find you?
3 ways. So you can go to Amazon right now and just go type in Bar Design Essentials and buy a book. And there's all my contact information at the end of the book on there too. If you just want to find out more and you're curious, you can go to my Instagram, which is Tobin Ellis Design, or you can go to my company's website, which is barmagic.com. It's been there for 29 years, probably be there for a few more. And there's a lot of resources. I share everything I can. During COVID, I did a hospitality relief dashboard and a revival 200-page free revival guide on how to kickstart your business. Those resources are still up there and free. So I hope there's something that you heard, or something that's in the book, or something on the website or my IG that inspires you or helps you, and helps everyone go out there and go fight, win, and make a party.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Allie. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So I encourage everyone to come up here. We'll do, have Tobin have some time if you have like a quick question. I've got some quick ones that we might talk about. Like if you had one word,
Sure.
one word to describe great bar design, what would that be?
Empathy.
So the most underrated element of bar design.
Involve a bartender or a bar design specialist in the design, period. You wouldn't design a kitchen without a chef. You shouldn't be designing a bar without a bartender.
One design trend that's over.
Indoor neon lights. The indoor neon signs. They're terrible for photography. They're horrible on skin color. And I mean, we like, it was cute. Like, I liked Pursue Happiness in Miami Beach. That one, I love that neon, but everyone's kind of done it. Let's move on.
Best resource for anyone interested in bar design.
Bar Design Essentials on Amazon.
And last question, what's the best type of ice?
Hoshi.
Ah! Thank you so much. All right.